thinks Quartz ate your chips? Oh, I have chat bookmarked.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
I was gonna say Quartz isn't allowed to have food that he didn't personally go buy because he's eaten all of our shit in the past like weeks.
It's a good rule.
He's been
He has never paid me a dime.
he's been ordering a ton of dinners for himself.
The guy must have had spent like at least $100 in Ubers in the last 3 days.
That's crazy because he still eats all of our snacks.
And you know what? The latest order he had was $33, and it was in a Christian's chair, untouched. I don't know.
He's literally just sitting there overnight.
Didn't even eat it.
All right, should we tweet this out?
Sure.
God, I feel so bad doing this after a loss. I'm fucking stupid.
Why? We need to discuss both loss and wins.
We lost.
We did.
1 second.
You're good.
Going to have a conversation with
How's it looking, Chase?
Ollievee.
Quiet as fuck.
I'm quiet.
Both of you.
Why do you have us at minus 28 decibels, bro? You're trolling.
Also, you might want to set a noise gate because I can hear me yelling at you.
Good.
That I don't care.
That's not gonna be good.
Is this better? Also, yeah.
Is this better?
This is a lot better, but I still have you maxed out, and it's like.
Okay, it's not good enough.
Not good enough. There we go.
Well, I mean, here, just talk normally and see.
Hi, how are you? How are you? Doing great. Fantastic.
Check 1 2. Chase Chaserson.
Chase Jason. Can we agree that Chase? Oh,
I'll look away.
I was gonna say, can we agree that Chase is not a full name? Like secretly, there's just an extension we don't know. Chase, what? What are you chase? What are you chasing? Jason? Chase Jason? How's the image looking?
Great.
Chase Jason. Good.
Have a delay. No.
Yeah, it's no Twitch delay. What are you tweeting, man?
I
Tweeting
gotta tweet.
paragraph?
People gotta come listen.
I gotta retweet.
Having a conversation with Ollie for 30 minutes.
30
That's
minutes.
the title of the show. No. Man, if only I had an energy drink sponsor right now.
Yeah. You hear that? I'm gonna tweet the only exposure I'll ever have.
The mic, you think? Check 1 2. All right, that should be good. I just bumped up the gain. That's probably what it was. You know, Ollie's is pretty crystal clear. I've been using that one for a while, but this one.
Oh, that's the new one?
Yeah. Okay.
It's an adjustment period. I tweeted that's the only exposure I'll ever have.
What if I had like an energy drink inside my coffee mug? That's like what I was. Like not the liquid in the cup, like can in the cup, and then me drinking.
Yeah, I was like a
Somebody. Ooh.
Just now? Hi, what's up?
Thank you guys for the follows. We can't really keep track of alerts Not that it matters, I suppose, but basically Ollie and I want to have a conversation for 30
Don't put time.
to 20
No,
minutes.
we don't know. We don't know.
Yeah, but
Things-
we got practice. We got practice.
You could last hours. Like we
Whoa.
could still be there tonight at like. Damn.
Hold on. Hi, Grant.
Hi, Grant. Oh, this guy said hi, Gara. Okay, my bad. My bad, Grant. Not even here. Who?
There you go. This is a banger.
What'd you
All right, everyone, go like my tweet.
About? That's
Banger.
good. That's funny. Yeah.
All right. So basically, Ollie and I have been looking for, I guess, like opportunities to branch out into other pieces of content.
Yeah.
And I guess one of the easiest ones that we've thought about doing is basically this podcast form. I guess. I don't really know. We don't have a plan. We're just
No.
here, and we just figured, as we get started, we'll kind of identify with what we like, don't like, and hopefully this becomes consistent.
Yep.
We've already committed.
It's done. We're
Full head
we're live.
forward. We've got all the equipment. Here we are.
Full dive. Yep.
Okay.
Here you go.
Oh, hold on. I gotta hold on.
Oh, sure. I can talk. We always think like there's always more place for podcasts and any kind of topics, and Siege is definitely one of them. I feel like right now the only kind of content podcast wise on Siege is like 6-on-6, and then I think Get Flanked has one, but then that's it. Valley had one for a bit, but that
I
thing.
think he's starting to reboot it.
I'm sorry.
He's starting to reboot that one.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Oh, thank you, Forceful. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. But yeah, I've always been a really great fan of podcasts. So I feel like we could, you don't need to be like a superstar to hold a podcast. I feel like regular people can talk about the game just as much as insightful and pro players, whatever. Yeah, I can still.
Okay. How are you recording the audio? So we have basically an audio interface. Thankfully, I future-proofed it by a bit, and it has 2 inputs for mics for XLRs. So that's how we're doing that. What was I gonna say? Yeah, and then one thing too, like even from my end, for anybody that doesn't know about me in esports, I guess, I try and keep like all my content as like universal as possible in terms of like across all games. So I think Ollie brings, or at least will bring, a lot of like the Siege discussion. Obviously, myself being a professional Siege coach, but for me, in anything that I do, I try and keep it as like universal as possible. I guess that way it can apply to any esport. Like I've taken so many, I guess, resources from like Team Liquid, their Breaking Point series, Optic, a lot of the content that they do, including like their podcast. So that's kind of like what this is like a little bit inspired off of, I guess. Cloud9's content. Yeah, I just, I guess for myself, in terms of like an inspiration, I want to, I guess, like create content that other esports can look to us and be like, all right, yo, really, really cool. Like, I don't know what Siege is, but the content that Ollie does, I think, with Northern Lights is just like really awesome. Any spectator can just pick that up and watch it.
Yeah. He likes for course to cut your hair.
I've already had my hair cut once by a teammate, and it didn't go so well. So maybe.
And you literally had a haircut yesterday.
Yeah, I did get a really nice hair.
1,000 likes. We have a number. 1,000. Yeah.
1,000 likes. Go get it. Cut. Thank you. All right.
Should we get started?
Yes. So Ollie basically wants to put me through the ringer and talk about the XSET game.
The defeat.
Mm-hmm.
Funny because first thing you said when we started this, we're doing this after a defeat, which I think is interesting because teams and players tend to like stay quiet after a defeat when I think they should talk the most. Whether when and the opposite is whenever a team win, like they're not unstoppable. Like we're gonna talk like nonstop for hours.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like yesterday's game was really interesting in terms of mindset. I don't think it's fair to say that I don't think that Mirage got absolutely outplayed by XSET. Like XSET didn't bring stuff that caught Mirage so off guard. Like they couldn't do anything. Like wow, we just bend over and we lost.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was really like a mind game. So I was curious to like ask, what do you think happened for the game to be so like split into two chapters, where it was like even three chapters almost, where rough start, so rough that you have to call a timeout after 2 rounds, and then 5 rounds in a row, and then 5 rounds in a row, but in the other sense.
Yeah. So let's see. I think first things first. Like we kind of went in with I guess like almost like a mentality that's like a little bit different than we approach like with TSM. I feel like it might have been like a little bit of an overreaction, and that I guess like practice was built up to be I guess lead up to that game is the best way to put it. And it wasn't exactly what we identified with as a team. Like I don't think we really played to like our strengths, especially like in the match. But one thing too as well, I think we were really focused on like what XSET was doing, and they actually were really really well suited to like execute against us. And I think that's like that mostly comes from Jar. They were just a lot more coordinated, and it was very very noticeable. I think our guys noticed it.
I did say that like I don't think XSET like went crazy, but I think it's fair to say that XSET has improved a lot during the season compared to last season.
Yeah.
For example,
it's hard to say like in what elements they improve, like basically from having drip on the team versus like not having drip, or having jar or not having jar. But we did notice that their executes were very very well synced. So
yeah.
And then one other thing too that's worth mentioning is because you asked about like the 3 chapters or whatever. So I think the first half went pretty straightforward. Like that to me is like really really standard. Like 2 rounds, slow start, call timeout, reorganize, recollect. But then whenever we got to their timeout, basically it was after our first attack, and it was really well timed because our first attack was actually like going pretty well. I think the only issue that we had was communication. We weren't like super cohesive, and that's basically the only thing that I was able to bring up. But then after the fact, obviously, the timeout really worked in their favor, and since I used mine earlier in the game, there's really no way to like reset and then like basically give more thoughts. So basically, like the seesaw kind of played out like an XSET's favor. I'm still satisfied with like my timeout. I'm still satisfied with basically the feedback that I gave during timeout 2. But obviously, in hindsight, like after the game is over, there's obviously so much more to say. But I mean, that's the nature of it. You only get 2 timeouts, so or one each. So
I think it's interesting to see how Mirage stand against XSET, because Mirage is in a really weird mental spot in the sense that like they're not a bottom team, they're not quite a top team yet in the sense that in terms of like consistency at the top, right? I think you need to have that to be considered a top team. Is like you're always at the top. So they're kind of like the lore of like how are we gonna place again? And I feel like every stage now for 2 stage against XSET, it's been that like quite complicated, really really tough game that like kind of like puts us back again in terms of like where do we sit in the league right now. Last stage we won against XSET on club 8-7, and it was pretty tough. And this defeat now, I feel like I've interviewed the guys multiple times asking questions about like how do you feel, like why do you still feel like you're an underdog? Everyone considers still Mirage as an underdog team, but when it comes to XSET, I feel like Mirage becomes the leading or the favorite team.
yeah.
So it's weird. It's really weird in that sense.
Yeah, I think so. It's hard to describe because I feel like during stage 1, our game against XSET for the first, I think we could win up like 5-2 in that game as well. Like it felt like we were really firmly in control in that game.
Yeah.
It's really hard for me to remember why that one slipped, but this time, obviously there came in with like a bunch of like pressure on the guys. You know, Mexico's like on their mind. There's a significant more amount of pressure, regardless of the opponent. Honestly, for this week. We're basically like in crunch time. Like our bye is the last week of the season, so these games matter a lot now.
Yeah.
And I feel like this game in particular just had like a lot of pressure revolving around it, and we didn't exactly, I guess, how to describe it. Like coming off the TSM game, you would think like there's like so much pressure on that game. There actually wasn't. But then like now we have 9 points, and suddenly like heading into the next opponent, it's like holy crap! Like now we're like starting to close in on exactly. Yeah. So. I think there was like just a little bit of an overreaction in terms of that, like just pressure. I think we just have to like simply like trust like practice, and once we get to the game, execute. That's where I feel like the translation was lost. But I think this week should reset us, and then we learned a lot, obviously, from that game. So,
Hi, Matthew, and Cole Steven.
Matt,
Hope you're doing
for winning.
Yeah, thanks for winning. Thanks for winning. People, I don't know if like I don't know if fans. I think it's fair to say that like every game matters, even to like one team. Like we at Mirage, like, and like every team on the league feels the same. Maybe not SSG because you're just ahead of everyone, but every team looks at every other games because the heads-to-heads are so important in this format because the league is always so tight, like so tight. Because if you look at the stage 1, for example, like I don't remember the numbers, but like between the 4th and 7th place, or even 3rd and 7th place, there's like 2 points difference. So the heads are really important because who wins against who matters at the end of the stage. So for us, like we're saying thank you, Matt, because since we beat TSM and SSG beat TSM, we have a chance to get closer to TSM. And if a draw happens in terms of points, well, we have the heads-to-head because of that victory. So it's always important. Not important, but it's like a thing I think you look at.
I don't know, Matt. I know you're asking if it would have affected us if you lost. I don't really know. Like, you kind of remember philosophy from last stage where it's like we don't really, at least I don't really pay attention to like what other teams are doing.
Yeah.
But like I do see like TSM lose. It's like, oh, okay, that's like at least we have an opportunity to like I guess get ahead at some point.
Yeah.
Like that window hasn't been lost. But even then, that's like a short-term window because that could happen at any point of the 3 games for us. So that's why it's like it doesn't really matter whether it happens or not. It's just a matter of like just playing it out.
I'm really curious to see the mentality going to next 2 games from the guys. It's a curious state in terms of like, yes, like you said, there's a lot of pressure on these last 2 games. But at the same time, there's a lot of like just motivation to just do your best, you know. So I feel like it's really interesting.
Yeah, that's fair, Matt. I know. Yeah, I don't pay attention to ranking, standings, anything like that. Basically, my goal, I guess, keep the team like as consistently improving as possible. And I feel like last week, maybe we went backwards on that. That's fine. I think we just need to simply like commit because we've got a long-term plan, and I think we kind of got a little short-sighted against that game.
Sos, how are you?
Any concern that your team is too easily countered? Just that you've only won match or that you haven't already played? Probably just a random coincidence. I mean, if teams are countering against us, that's fine. I literally said in one of the episodes that like teams can have our strat book. That shouldn't affect like the way that we play. Our style and like the fundamentals that we practice, in my opinion, should, I guess, kind of like be prepared for that almost. Like basically like an extreme example is whenever Empire only had 1 strat for everything. They got really good at that. They were able to adapt off that. That's kind of how I see like our team should be doing. But if we aren't playing like that style, like for example like in the XSET game, then it's really hard to ask for that from the guys. So,
and to be fair, I don't think we lost Cafe against XSET. I think we just lost a game. I think putting that game into any map would have had the same results in a sense. I don't know if you agree with that.
It depends. I could see like maybe some maps instilling more confidence in us versus others, but like I don't think Cafe is a map where we have more or less confidence. It was just like the game plan didn't really support like us, like our team.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah. By the way, for people who like think like, oh, who the fuck is this guy? What does he think he knows? Like, I'm behind these guys 7 days a week, 24/7, either filming or like discussing or talking. And I know Siege just by my own experience, not as a professional level, obviously, but like, yeah, I think I'm just behind and like listen, so I kind of like figure out what's happening.
Yeah, Ollie's a dedicated sport. Even like Euro Cup is going on right now, and he's like studying it, and he's like a fan of the teams, even though he's like not like a dedicated fan. So yeah, exactly. So plus he has like a knack for, I don't know how he does it, but the what is it, like the sports predictions, and so even with the Siege predictions for SI, he was like right behind.
If someone needs like
he was like
a lot of money,
place.
Just hit me up. I'm gonna give you the best predictions you ever see. Are we getting Northern Lights for the last 3 weeks too? Yes. The plan is to give 1 episode every week. unless some things come up. Like it's already been on my mind whether I should wait another week to release an episode just to get like a 2 game storyline. It's really hard making episodes with the 1 game per week because there's no like turnovers, I guess, or turnovers or just completion. Like it's always like, okay, we lost against XSET, so now I have to make a story with that. But I can't like wait for the other game next week to see how are they gonna win next game? Is that a storyline? And if I wait and then they lose that other game, well, that storyline it's really less interesting. Like 2 losses in a row, like it's just sad, you know. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure about some of so. I think managers can have many different roles. Flynn is like our team manager, team principal. So he basically bridges us between the org and obviously the on the ground. Ollie focuses exclusively on like content production. Basically gathering all that content, pushing it out to the public, editing, all that stuff. He has a hand in like the social media aspect of Mirage as well. Yeah, Flynn is essentially like our quote unquote manager. As far as like responsibilities in the house, that's more so myself.
You can do whatever. He just wants to walk.
As long as you're not like naked.
Is it you who ate my chips, Alex? Please answer. Did anything inspire the Northern Lights intro with the players or the setups? I think it's super cool and seems unique.
That's Ollie. I don't know.
So I have a film major degree. So like I've done a lot of movies or whatever, studied a lot of movies, and since I've ever like watched movies, my favorite director is always been Wes Anderson. I don't know if you know him, but he's an American director. He's directed the Grand Budapest Hotel, Moonrise Kingdom, all these movies. They're more like artistic movies, but if you just watch a trailer of any Wes Anderson movie and you're gonna understand where I got the inspiration from. It's not a direct inspiration, but I just always loved this style, and I kind of like took on that style and like applied it with my own knowledge, I guess.
It's cool that people can relate to that because I have no.
Grand Budapest Hotel is great. I really love those. Every Wes Anderson movies are.
Yeah, like one credit that I give to Ollie, and I know Calvin was basically hired like as I was parting from DZ, so I can't speak on him, but I know Ollie is definitely one of the more qualified that I've with in esports.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So I send that back, honestly. I think you've impressed a lot of people as a coach. Hi, Alex. Is it you who ate my chips? Did you eat my chips? We're over there. Bag of chips. I did. It was on the seat. It was on the chair.
Why did you leave food on your chair?
I don't leave food on chairs.
What? You can heat it up.
It's a burger.
What?
Okay,
you gotta leave.
Okay, bye.
You gotta leave.
Bye. Nick said it wasn't him.
Yeah.
Nick said it wasn't him. I know he's a cheap eater. He was my first suspect, but he said it's not me.
Zach respects the boundaries we set on food, especially because Ollie's vegan.
Yeah.
So, I think he gets a little slack for this.
Okay, bye.
Food setup? Yeah, we threw it up in 5 minutes.
Literally.
All right. Let's see. So, takes us into our next segment. I think Ollie's maybe it's me. I don't know. But basically, you wanted to talk about like the results of some of the other games. I already told Ollie I haven't really seen any of the other games, including the SSG one. I just saw the results of that one.
I think I want to talk about like the league in general so far, since like it's our first like kind of I don't want to say episode, but whatever. I think we have a really interesting season where compared to last stage, like the results could go like any direction, and it was just surprise after surprise. And I feel like more and more this stage we're starting to see like what teams are going to perform like consistently well. SSG being one of them. No thanks to Matt, obviously. This guy's not that good, but and then Sonics with like I feel like many people, including myself, thought Sonics was just a fluke last stage. It'd be like, okay, they're just gonna place again like wherever. But like again, beating OXG, and OXG maybe question marks whether like what's happening. We don't know. And then Disrupt. I think Disrupt is just setting them like, yeah, we had a rough start, but like we're still like definitely mid pack. We're not bottom.
I actually I know DG played yesterday. I don't even know who they played.
They played Beast Coast. They beat them 7-2 on Chalet. If I'm not wrong.
Okay. Yeah, because I haven't really been keeping up with other teams this stage.
Yeah.
I think the biggest surprise, probably for everybody, is just like the performance of OXG. And that basically just has like a trickle down effect because now like OXG's playing Sonic, so OXG's playing us, and we well. So that does kind of mess with the standings actually by like a lot.
Yeah.
Now that basically propels Sonics forward. It propelled us forward, obviously. I think that's had the most impact.
Yes, OXG not performing as people thought it would perform definitely leaves the top 4 with a lot of question marks whether who's going to take that spot. I think we're in a really good spot for that, but I don't think we can disqualify DZ Sonics or even Disrupt if you have like a good end of season. You made me sad yesterday. Thank you, Alex. Y'all made me sad. I don't understand when you're saying that. This guy's confused. And like I think Disrupt Beast Coast game was an interesting one. I saw some tweet by Skies. Like he was just like kind of like now analyzing the game like in the game and like he was saying some stuff like 3 different defense setup, 3 different smoke players, and then like he saw like some players on weird operators on attack. I don't know. I think either Beast Coast is trying everything they can and like just in no order to like just try to find something that works.
Probably.
Yeah. I think that's gonna be it.
Yeah, I can't really comment on what they're doing because I haven't even seen them. Like
yeah.
I didn't see that game from yesterday, especially either. So
winner of SQ and Mirage is gonna finish 3rd. I have no doubt about it. It's definitely possible. I think it's a race right now. I think SQ already had their bye, which is interesting in that matter, but yeah.
I think the only one of the few teams at least that haven't is pretty sure SSG is one of them. They probably have their bye like next week or something. I don't know. Us and then one other team.
SSG is qualified though.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like it's buys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I got, I guess.
I wouldn't be surprised. Buys next week. I wouldn't be surprised if TSM. I don't know what. Okay, so obviously SSG is a great team. Did TSM? So now TSM is at 2 losses in a row, after having this like crazy showdown like beginning of the season. I wouldn't be surprised to see like not them fall, but like kind of like hitting a stump right now. So like, are they gonna get out of the top 4? Probably not, but I wouldn't be surprised if they like lose a couple more games.
They have to. So Geo's back, at least from what I've seen. So that could be like the reset that they need. I genuinely don't know. Like,
do you think they're gonna just put him in during the stage?
Probably.
Building play with Poge all this time.
Probably, just because I mean, after losing to us and losing to SSG, it's like might as well. Like it's a good time to make that transition.
Yeah.
It'd be different if they like continued winning, right? It's like the same situation we had with Quartz. Even though his visa didn't come in, like that was always like a question in the back of our mind. So got to be on theirs.
Does everyone know if Quartz doesn't perform well? My time to shine, baby. Woo! I'm taking the spot.
Yeah, I think TSM will bounce back, especially with Geo. I don't know if it'll be like right away, obviously. Plus Geo's like obviously the long-term permanent option. But maybe they need to work him back in, I guess. But like same time, it is Geo's long-standing player.
Matt confirms that they wanted him to see a week of.
That makes sense.
Which makes sense. Surprised to see how. Yeah, it's always interesting to see when a player comes in a roster. Like obviously Geo's been there for a long time, but like a long break. I don't think it's good. I don't think long breaks helps. TSM plays XSET, OXG, and SQ. See, that's interesting. Because we have 3 teams here that like kind of have something to prove. I think XSET wants to like.
XSET's looking good.
XSET is looking good. We don't just say that because we lost. No, but it's actually interesting because like I always talk about this, but I think momentum is hugely more important than people give credit to. And momentum goes up and momentum goes down. So right now we have a team that's down with TSM and XSET that's like fucking skyrocketing. So like they're getting more points than they ever had. So like their momentum is going off the roof. So I would be surprised. Same thing for OXG that has like kind of something to prove, and SQ's SQ. Right? they're really fierce competitors and like interesting of the season for TSM. I really wouldn't want to like say TSM 9 points. Like I don't think that's fair enough.
All right. Basically the state of the league, I guess.
Yep.
I have a segment that talk about Mexico, but I don't know what we're talking about Mexico. Matt, do you have your swim trunks ready?
What? Are you ready, Matt?
Guy avoids.
Matt, do you know where in Mexico it
Avoids the sun
is?
like the plague. Anyone does.
He's gonna ego us now that we ask questions.
Oh, well, don't matter.
Don't matter. Mexico, interesting.
What do you want to talk about it?
I was gonna talk about who's gonna get there. Got my SSG swim trunks, of course. This guy's been on SSG for like 3 weeks now, and I don't think I've seen it with a piece of clothing that doesn't have the astronaut on it. Like full thing, socks, shorts, everything. I'm sure his boxers and underwears are SSG.
Shit, if they got me a mariachi band, I might do that too.
Yeah, ooh. Yeah, that's what got him. Give me everything. To be fair, it was the same on Mirage. True.
Oh, okay.
Will you guys be required to only bring
That's
6
facts.
people, or will the whole team be there? That's actually a good question. So I think traditionally it's always only been 6. If I'm speaking out of my hat here a little bit, but I think that's what the rule is.
I don't know.
Because I've seen discussion whether
It might be like 7
content
max.
people
Yeah.
can be there or not. But I think traditionally it's 6.
Okay.
So I might not be if we.
Okay. I'll vlog.
You'll
Oh, that
vlog?
is another thing
Yeah.
too. I'm looking because I've already tweeted about this. I'm looking for ideas for more content, and I've already started thinking of them. I've obviously been working with Ollie, but basically, like I want to do like some sort of like vlog. And one of the reasons, I guess, let's skip Mexico. You know, like I'm not worried about that. You know, but basically, we have a segment where we want to talk about like content as well. Maybe that's like asking you guys. But basically, like for myself, like where this all like stemmed from, including like this, like what we're doing right now, is personally, I feel like VOD reviewing as a coach is like, well, at least in my experience, like not enough people show up for me to like justify doing it. Like to like Twitch chat, because obviously I'll watch VODs myself and all that stuff. But I don't feel like I get like as much benefit out of it as like as the time that I sink into it. Obviously, I personally learn a lot, but it's like it doesn't really feel like interesting to me. For you guys, like you guys might get to learn a lot about the game or something like that. But I feel like that doesn't really showcase like myself. Like I feel like for my professional job, it's like coaching all day, every day, and so like to continue to like coach Twitch chat is like relatively like boring, I guess, to me. I like want a little bit of a break.
And to be fair, I think it's not to like take away anything from the people that do that. Like I'm thinking about like Super and
Oh no,
and
the people that
Skies.
do that are great. Like,
They're really
I love
great.
it. I
but-
watch it. I consume it.
And I feel like a big part of what they're doing is based on like entertainments in the sense that like they're not scared of like making fun of or like laughing at their thing. And I don't think that's not saying
That's
you're
not
not
me,
funny.
yeah.
You're the funniest person I know, but like you're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be like, what?
I don't like bashing like teams, players, performance, anything like that. Like rankings. I don't like disrespecting like teams like that. But yeah, like I feel like the people that do it like incredibly well. And like I said, I consume that content myself. But that's just like not what I want to be doing. I think
Right.
it's like the biggest thing. Like
Right.
I want to entertain essentially. To I guess like my like community, like whoever that is, rather than like always be educating, I guess, because I think I do like a pretty fair bit of both whenever I try. So that's why like I want to do stuff like this, have a discussion, like do vlogs, and then another thing too is like I want to keep it universal, like I said at the beginning. I don't want to like exclusively focus on Siege like 24/7 because like I don't know, I feel like people get enough of that, if that makes sense, like because there are those other resources. Like I just want to like expand beyond that, I guess. I want my coaching brand to be bigger than just like Siege. I want to be like best
This
coach.
guy,
I don't
this
wanna
guy
be,
really wants to cut your hair. Like that's his goal. Wakes up every morning, is like, "Parts way to cut Christian's hair right today, or else."
This guy needs his own haircut.
Yeah.
How much for me to cut Horcrux's hair?
Northern Lights
5 likes.
episode Mexico would be dope, and I was thinking about like a 45 minutes special or something, like a longer thing, like more with like a based on the movie, like a documentary. That would have been crazy, but I don't think I would be able to.